Captain's Log, September 20th, 2014. So it's happened again. First, I did a Captain's Log talking about the Supergirl TV show in development. That, by the way, has had a pilot ordered that is happening, so that's exciting. But anyway, I did that, and then as I was doing that, the Teen Titans show for TNT got announced, that was in development, and then I did a video talking about that and the Justice League thing from Machinima, and I made a joke there where I was like, gee, I wonder what gets announced while I'm sitting here talking. Then Deadpool got announced. Then yesterday, I did a Captain's Log about Deadpool, and the same thing happened. Now we got Suicide Squad. I said before that I don't want to use the phrase getting out of hand because I'm a huge superhero and comic book fan and I'm excited to see all these characters getting realized, but wow, this might be the time to say this might be getting out of hand. I mean, in a good way if you're me, if all this stuff is really good, but it seems like we're starting to turn our TV sets and movie theaters into comic book stores, and I'm wondering how long this can really last. I mean, certainly we'll see how much of it sticks. Supergirl's definitely happening. As I said before, I think Titans is almost positively going to happen, and we've got all these, you know, TV shows in development, we've got all these movies in development, and we've been getting some major, some people think oversaturation with superhero movies the last several years. I say just, quite a lot of them. I certainly don't want the only things that are coming out that are good and that I like to be superhero movies, but that's not happening. Last year was great for movies. We had a pretty good year this year too. And so anyway, I guess all I'm saying is that with all these things suddenly getting announced all at one time, I've really got to wonder if this is the way of the foreseeable future, or if companies are responding to things like Guardians and saying, we need to jump on this bandwagon and get movies made as quickly as we can in the, anti-hero, roguish hero department while it's still hot. A hit while the iron is hot. And that's not necessarily a problem as long as they make good films, because what happens, what I think a lot of us fans like to do when that happens is we go, oh, you're just cashing in, you're just trying to milk this kind of genre or subgenre for all that it's worth. Let's hurry up and get a movie out while people are still going. We're gonna miss that boat when it's sailed on. Well, the way that you can, to stretch that metaphor beyond credulity, the way that you can keep that boat docked and not have it sail away is to just make really great movies and keep people's palates wet for that. And so it could be that the supervillain or anti-hero movie ends up being a thing for a while alongside actual movies about superheroes, because we just start to really like them. They're really solid and good. So as long as things don't look like we're just doing Guardians but at DC, or ripping off whatever it is, then this thing might have legs. So I want to see it before I say, oh, this is just a cash grab. Certainly, it's a response, I think, to the popularity of certain things going on right now. But and when I say it's a response, I mean all of these things. Look at all the anti-hero movies we're about to have. This is crazy. I mean, we already have Guardians, which is not exactly anti-hero. It's roguish characters. They, as I said yesterday, they certainly become kind of heroes at the end. But then you get to the very end of the movie, and Star-Lord's like, let's do something kind of bad and something kind of good. So they're roguish characters. But then so we're gonna have obviously a sequel to that. Then we got probably almost certainly now Venom happening. Probably Black Cat. We still don't know. I don't think what the female-led Spider-Man movie is supposed to be, but or movie in that universe, but it's likely to be Black Cat. We got Sinister Six, of course. Deadpool was announced, and now we got Suicide Squad. Wow, just all this stuff at once. It's going to be really fascinating to see which ones of them perform and what kind of movies they all are. Will Suicide Squad be a fun movie, or will it be a really self-serious kind of brutish movie in the vein of what we're starting to kind of see DC superhero movies as? And my big question, and I wonder if anybody else is asking this, is it gonna be, is Suicide Squad going to be in the Justice League movie universe? A few weeks ago, I would have said, most certainly, of course. DC and Warner Brothers are putting out all these superhero movies now. They have Man of Steel, and we've got Batman vs. Superman about to come out, and so with all these dates that they've given us without titles, surely they're all going to be in the same universe. Not necessarily, because there is the verdict is out right now about whether or not Shazam is going to be set in the same universe, and so I'm starting to wonder that with other projects, like I think it's really hard to tell, because Shazam, and this is the reason people are wondering about this with Shazam. New Line Cinema is making that movie along with Warner's, and a lot of people are going, well, why would they kind of pseudo outsource it like that if it wasn't part of that vein? And the prevailing theory right now is that's too lighthearted and too far-fetched of an idea for it to fit in that universe. So what people think that that Warner is doing, and I think this is very likely, is that they're saying we need more superhero movies because Marvel's got that cornered, and they're making so much money with them, and they're doing really great, and we want to give people those kinds of movies too. We want to be able to also do the kind of lighthearted and fun thing Marvel's doing, but what we set up with Man of Steel and what we're trying to do with Justice League doesn't fit that mold, so we need multiple universes. I think what may be happening, if this is true, is that they started with this idea, and then I'll get back to Suicide Squad. But I haven't talked about the Shazam thing, so I thought I'd mention it real quick. That they, oh, and by the way, yes, The Rock playing Black Adam. That's kind of exciting. Interesting that we don't know who's playing Shazam yet. But I think that's a great choice. I'll just say that real quick. Anyway, so what I think might be happening, if this ends up being the case, is that Warner Brothers started from a place of, we have to cash in on what Marvel's doing. We have to compete with them in the shared universe arena. But then they started to, and you know, do it with the tone of the Dark Knight Batman movies, or something kind of close to that, because that's what we have that was really super successful. So we'll try to marry those things together. And then they've seen the success of Avengers and of Guardians and things like that, and they've gone, oh, maybe we also need fun, lighter movies. So how can we possibly do those things together? Well, of course, my answer is just make some of those too in the same universe. I don't understand why it can't all exist together. But if that's happening, they might think that the Shazam and stuff like it wouldn't fit in there. Well, Suicide Squad is certainly a darker thing. It's certainly a bunch of dark characters, supervillains being hired by the government, secret organization, to go on these really dangerous missions, and that could certainly fit in there. But if they want it to have a really humorous tone, even if it's like kind of a darker, kind of more black comedy sort of thing, then they might decide that even that can't be in that universe. And it would be interesting to me if Suicide Squad was one of the earliest things in this continuity, where you've got Superman, Batman. You've got Man of Steel, you've got Batman vs. Superman, and then those other dates, we don't know what's going to happen when. Of course, there's a lot of talk about a Wonder Woman movie, there's a lot of talk about an Aquaman movie, we don't know yet if the Shazam thing is even in the same universe. Is Suicide Squad the, third or fourth or fifth thing they make? Well, I think they're going to do Justice League probably right after Batman Superman, but I don't know, I think it's really hard to tell what exactly they're doing right now, and everybody's trying to figure it out. So anyway, I think a Suicide Squad movie could be really, really great. It could be super fun. There's been talk about it for a while, and now we know that it's allegedly definitely happening, although Warner's has a history of announcing things and then still having a wait-and-see attitude, and we'll see if they still kind of have that after Batman vs. Superman, and if something else comes out before mean, I imagine this will probably go into development and into production before that comes out, but I guess we'll see what happens. But it's just, they've done this before, right? Quite a bit, where they'll announce things and then they put a movie out and then they go, that didn't perform the way you wanted to. We'll completely reinvent the wheel and start from scratch. So anyway, obviously the big question is what characters are going to be on the Suicide Squad. It's at a lot of different rosters. And I would be really interested to hear Eric talk about this, and who he would like to see in there. Characters, I think, are almost certainly, definitely going to be in the film. Deadshot, of course. Usually, especially these days, your Suicide Squad stories tend to be about Deadshot over anybody, and he's kind of the leader character. The big one that people are asking about is Harley Quinn, and I read an article that said that since Arrow was really kind of, or since Warner's was really kind of iffy on whether or not Arrow should be allowed to use Harley Quinn, so they let them do that kind of fun little cameo Easter egg thing, but not actually make her a full-fledged character. Maybe they're saving her for something like this. Maybe she'll be in Suicide Squad. And I wonder what Harley Quinn would be like without the Joker. I don't know that you can have Harley Quinn without the Joker. Or maybe if this is the Batman vs Superman universe, maybe what they'll do is have like an already established Joker, because after all, their Batman's been operating for quite a while, and then have her be having been already manipulated by him and turned into what she is. It could be really interesting if we actually met Harley Quinn before we even met this version's Joker, but that there was like mentions of him, or that there weren't mentions of him at all, but that, you know, the fans kind of know, and that eventually they'll bring that all in. So that could be really interesting. The thing about the Suicide Squad is that a lot of their characters tend to be villains that are kind of minor villains from other things, and doing a standalone Suicide Squad movie before any of those characters have been introduced in anything else, I think it can work just fine, but it could be a little bit of a missed opportunity. I feel like Suicide Squad may have been a cooler thing to do after we had a couple of movies under our belts and introduced a couple of villains, and then made it like a villain team-up movie where you have like all these villains from different things that you put together. The Suicide Squad in Arrow, for instance, was kind of more fun because some of those characters you'd seen before. So, you know, we had Bronze Tiger earlier, and then we brought him in. By the way, Bronze Tiger is another character that I think is likely to be in this, especially because he's in Arrow, and I think that characters that have been in TV shows that that have worked. I'm talking about when we get there. Right now we've had just Arrow, but I feel like when that happens and characters are kind of more well known because of TV shows, I don't think they'll stay away from them just because they're known from those shows. I actually think that will help them decide who they want to use for certain things. I think Bronze Tiger is a likely candidate. Looking at different rosters, I saw that Clock King has been on the Suicide Squad before. I would kind of love that, of course, because I love the Clock King, but I love Arrow's Clock King, and I don't know that they can do a live-action, in a more serious, gritty movie, Clock King, any better than they did it there. So I don't know if I actually want that, but I feel like I'm almost obligated to say I want Clock King. What else? Captain Boomerang is a character I would love to see on Suicide Squad in the movie, because I like Captain Boomerang a lot. I thought he was really cool in the recent DC animated movie Assault on Arkham, and but once again, before we see him with Flash, well, I got but I guess we'll see what they end up doing. Obviously, Killer Frost is there's a good shot. I think she'll be there, and then what about Deathstroke? Now, of course, Deathstroke is not usually a Suicide Squad character, although I think they're about to do a version, or maybe it's already happening, I'm not sure, where he, in 52, where he actually is on the Suicide Squad. But I think that Deathstroke could be the right character to have them go up against, and that's the other question. Is usually it's Amanda Waller pulling together a team of supervillains that she can kill at any moment, and uses that to force them to work for her, going up against some kind of really scary major supervillain force. So I'm hoping that the other side of this isn't something generic. I'm hoping that it's also maybe something really cool in the DC universe that we know already, and that might be a good way to establish a villain, again, if it's in the same universe as Justice League, and once again, I don't feel like we can be 100% sure that will be the case, but if it's in that same universe, I wonder if this might not be a way to set up a villain for another character, like maybe, you know, maybe you Black Manta there, and then you bring him into Aquaman later, or something like that. The film is, so far, they're saying that it's that they want David Ayer to direct it, who is directing a movie that's about to come out with Brad Pitt called Fury. It's a World War II movie, and he's kind of known for his more like straightforward, realistic action, and what he does seems to be kind of pretty well suited for this kind of project. So I think this is all pretty cool news. Once again, I'm always skeptical about DC stuff, and always feel like I gotta say, we'll see if it sticks. But and I wonder if this announcement didn't come out right after Deadpool was announced, where they're like, oh well, they mentioned like Marvel finally, or Fox finally came out and said that they're doing their Deadpool movie, so we've got to announce our Suicide Squad movie. I don't mean that 12 hours later they decided finally to do it. I mean that maybe they had it under their hats and they decided that it would be smartest to tell us about it now. Ergo, me having to make captain's logs about new announcements of movies every day. So anyway, what do you folks think about all this? Looking forward to reading your comments, and what do you think? Is there a chance that some of these movies actually will not be set in the same universe as Justice League, or are people jumping the gun by saying that just because New Line is involved with Shazam? Leave your comments, let me know what you think, and in the meantime, I am Captain Logan, and this was today's Captain's Log.